It's time for another one of those pesky friendship evolution challenges, and the Pokemon taking on the Crystal Challenge today is TOGETIC. And now as we're preparing to take TOGETIC through the Pokemon Crystal Challenge, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody for your very kind words on the last couple of videos. I was very nervous actually doing the live voiceover. I know people don't like change, but I think it has gone down really well. So if you do enjoy the live voiceover, let me know down in the comments and I can keep on doing it. I know from my side it's definitely giving me those nostalgic vibes you used to get from the old Let's Plays here on YouTube. But we'll talk more about that in the Kanto chat. For now, let's take a look at our stats. We're starting off as always at level 5, this time with 20 HP. We're holding that berry and our moves are Growl and Charm. And we have 8 in attack, 12 in defense, 10 in special attack, 13 in special defense and 8 in speed. Let's get into the run. There are certain Pokemon where I think to myself, why am I doing this? And Togepi is definitely one of them. We're not going to be able to have our regular first wild encounter because we've got to get all the way to Struggle. So my first task is to find a Hoppip to beat up, deplete all of our PP, and then we can start the grind with Struggle so that we can grow to level 7 to get Metronome. This is Hoppip number 2. We have finally gotten to a point where we can use Struggle. We did knock out the earlier Hoppip as well, or should I say it knocked itself out, and now we can get to grinding with Struggle to get all the way up to level 7, so we have a chance to attack. It's not even a guaranteed attack, it is just a chance to attack, which makes this Pokemon even more ridiculous than it otherwise could have been. I genuinely don't know why Togepi's initial learn set is so redundant, having both Charm and Growl on the learn set. But I am very pleased to say that after 5 minutes exactly, we get Metronome. We now have a chance to do some attacks. It's not guaranteed, but that's going to be part of the fun of this challenge. The hard part is going to be restraining myself from using Metronome all the time. Because, you know, it could be quite fun. It wouldn't be an accurate reflection of Togepi's abilities. But then, Togepi's abilities aren't great to begin with, are they? We will show our first Metronome together. It used Spiderweb followed by Mean Luck, so carrying on with the redundant thing. Then we've got a Powder Snow and a Rolling Kick. Icy Wind did a fair amount of damage and Super Fang finished it off. Right. We've got to try and get through the first rival battle like this. I'm not wasting the berry on it. We might get our first reset at Rival 1. Let's see how we get on. This is Rival 1 and he is going to have the Totodile line because, believe it or not, it's the bulkiest of all of them. If that Dragon Breath was something a little bit more useful. Oh, Spark! We take Spark, we take Double Edge, we get through. Magic. So let's now name the rival triple question mark as we always do. I think for once he's going to have the upper hand, at least until we evolve into a Togetic. I'll keep progressing towards Violet City, try and get a couple more levels here and there en route, and we'll meet back up when we're either going to do the Gym Leader or Sprout Tower. And there is our first kaboom of the challenge. We use self-destruct and we white it out. Let's try again, shall we? Hopefully that doesn't happen again. This is Birdkeeper Rod for the second time. Psychic was nice with the crit. Waterfall with through Pokemon number 1. Let's see how we do against Pokemon number 2. Oh no, we missed a Mega Kick. We have Harden. Barrage is useless. Waterfall is good though. We have a chance at facing Falkner. This is how well this challenge is going. To be fair, I'm very surprised we've only had one reset so far. It was slow progress up to Violet City, but it gives me great pleasure to say this is Falkner. He's our first gym leader together. He's going to be a pest, and he leads with Pidgey. Pidgey uses Tackle, we try pursuing it, and now we're using Solar Beam for no good reason. And here comes a Leech Life to gain 1 HP back. We're surrounding ourselves in mist and we punch it with ice with our teeny tiny hands. We're on 7 HP as we increase our attack, but we get crit. What a shame. Let's equip the 1 berry we have left and try again. This is attempt number 4 at Falkner. Let's see how well we get on this time. We're using Skull Bash, a move we've never seen in a challenge run. Safeguard is great, we've sent the Pidgey to sleep. We use Mind Reader and that means that Rain Dance is guaranteed to hit. We slam and now we've got 4 moves to knock out the Pidgeotto. Gust back with a crit didn't do much. Spite isn't going to help us. Vise Grip isn't going to help us either. We need something big and we don't get it. Let's try again. We have just 10 turns to get through, which sounds like a lot. Thundershock is fantastic. There's our second explosion. 2 in this gym. They say that 6 times the charm. Let's see if that's true for this one. Guillotine would have been brilliant, but it missed. Rage is useless because we can't build it up. Attract's not going to work. I'm going to take a reset. This genuinely might be one of the hardest fights we have in a very long time in challenge running. We've poisoned the Pidgey, that's fantastic. Thundershock's even better. Let's see, Reflect might be useful because we knock out the Pidgey. Come on, let's do some big damage. Absorb is not what we're after. Kinesis reduces the accuracy, we've seen how useful that is. Mudslap's going to do nothing. We've paralysed it, we've screeched it. 1 big turn, and we don't get it. We have 10 turns to get through 2 Pokemon with just 20 attack base stat. It's not going to be going well. Aurora Beam is fantastic though. We now have 7 turns, and with a rock type, which of course means he's going to start mudslapping us. Thank you for that, Togepi, that's really what we needed. Thunder would have knocked out. We're digging, means nothing. We're drinking, it means nothing. We're out of there again. We are now exceeding our level with number of resets, and we're only at Falkner. Thunderbolt is brilliant, that's a one-shot on the Pidgey. We have 9 turns now. Fissure would have been brilliant, but it is of course a ground-type move. Submission does nothing. We just need something electric and strong. Hyper Beam, that did a lot, but now we must recharge. Spike Cannon, and we are through on 1 HP. We get the Zephyr badge. That was the last key battle where we are forced to use Metronome. We're going to get Swift in Union Cave. I'm going to get out of here. I'm not even going to bother with Sprout Tower yet. Let's move on. This is a very weird situation we found ourselves in, where I've skipped all of the trainers on the route before and in the cave, and we're actually going to take them on once we've got ourselves Swift, because I think we're going to need the levels, and at least it's stab, and at least it's consistent, and at least it never misses. We can teach Mudslap as well. We'll get rid of Growl for that. So now we do have some moves on our learn set. We still don't have a great amount of attacking stat, but we can start beating up some of these trainers, try and get as much experience as possible before we take on Bugsy and Rival 2. Having seen our damage output with Swift, I've decided to backtrack and do the Sprout Tower now. I think we're going to need every last experience point we can get. Sweet Kiss could be interesting, but I don't think it's going to be reliable in the slightest. Not that anything else we're doing is reliable. You can see we're not even one-shotting a Hoothoot with an 8 level advantage with Stab Swift. That's what we're contending with at the moment. We're level 18 as we leave the Sprout Tower. I've now got the Walk of Shame back to Azalea. I'll meet you for the HM friends. 25:45, we're pausing the time to catch HM friends. I say it nearly every video, but the reason we pause the time to catch the HM friends is to eliminate the element of RNG that goes into finding and catching wild Pokemon. Even though this challenge run patch does guarantee the encounters and does guarantee the catch, there's still no guarantee on how long it will take to find each wild Pokemon. And with that, we have both Paris and Psyduck Court. I've got a trip to the Slowpoke Well, but you're next going to see the gym. With our damage output, I genuinely think the best option might be to Metronome the Scyther, but this is our second gym leader. This is Bugsy, a bug-type specialist who leads with Metapod. Looking like a 2-shot on the Metapod is going to be a 2-shot on the Kakuna, maybe a 3 now with that pesky Harden. As long as we don't get poisoned, we're in with a chance as we grow to level 22. Let's see how much Swift does. Fury Cutter misses twice in a row. That is huge. That could give us the in we need. In fact, that was perfect luck. 13:46 for the split, 28:21 for our second badge, the Hive badge. We cannot celebrate for too long though, of course. We've got the dreaded Rival 2 just around the corner, and something tells me this isn't going to be as easy as Bugsy was just then. Let's see how we get on. Leading with Ghastly, we do have Mudslap for the Ghastly as Hypnosis misses. Hypnosis misses twice in a row and we crit, we knock it out. Here comes Zubat. We flinch because we don't outspeed the Zubat. I'm very confused as to why Zubat came out second. We are confused for the Croconaw. Let's see how much we do here. We hit ourselves in confusion, so we'll never know. Rage is building, but his AI is terrible. We should be fine, absolutely fine, to get through the second rival battle in under half an hour, which is an achievement for Togepi, I've got to say. We had some really good look at Bugsy, and it seems to be continuing. So here in the forest, we're going to be able to get TMO2, which is, of course, Headbutt. Somehow Togepi learns it. I'm very grateful for that, so we're going to be teaching that straight away. I think we're going to get rid of Charm. Charm doesn't really add anything to the learn set, and I'm too stubborn to get rid of Metronome at the moment. So now we do have a few more attacking moves on the learn set, and we can make our way into Goldenrod City. Of course, the first thing we do on our way to Goldenrod is catch ourselves an Abra. I should have the timer paused for this, but it did turn up on the first tile, so it's only about 3 seconds, which is neither here nor there in a challenge run. And now we can think about completing the HM Friends with Kenya. And of course, the final thing we need to complete the HM Friends is Kenya. We'll grab it now, and with that the HM Friends are complete for another challenge. Speed stat is terrible at the moment, so we're absolutely going to be equipping the Quick Claw. That's going to be very handy for the Whitney battle, which is in fact where we're heading next. Because Togepi is a friendship evolution, I've decided to take on every single trainer we could before Whitney, and now it is time to take on Whitney herself. She is our third gym leader, a normal type specialist who led with Clefairy that's already gone down, and we are getting the luck once again. We get rid of the Miltank first try. No thank you to Safeguard, we get our next badge, and that levelling has paid off. Plain badge in 40 minutes and 44 seconds. Is that a quick time? No. Is that a good time for Togepi? Absolutely. Let's make our way towards Ecruteak City. Now the first thing we're going to do is start heading towards the Lake of Rage. I genuinely think our best strategy at the moment is to try and beat up as many trainers as possible for the experience and try and get hidden power at the same time. So that's what we're going to do. It doesn't matter who the trainers are, it doesn't matter what Pokemon they have, we are going to try and knock them out regardless. Because every little last experience point will help until we evolve. I don't think we have a cat in hell's chance of getting through either Rival 3 or Morty as a Togepi, so we are going to have to grind. Our friendship is currently 190, so we're not too far off evolving, but the levels are going to get harder to acquire with each time we level up. And here we are acquiring Hidden Power. It'll come as no surprise, we're going for Hidden Power Ice. I think we need the damage output for Lance. Let's teach Hidden Power in place of Encore. Still being stubborn and keeping Metronome on the learn set. We'll TP back to Ecruteak City, and now we're going to head towards the Lighthouse, where hopefully at some point en route we will actually evolve into our Togetic. We have officially run out of trainers to battle, so I'm going to grab the fishing rod, and then we're going to do the Walk of Shame all the way back to New Bark Town. We need this evolution now, so we have no choice but to go to our court location of our Togepi, where we'll get double the friendship upon level up. So it's going to be a bit of a slog, but I think it'll all be worth it. And thank goodness, because we are going back to New Bark Town, we don't have any wild encounters whatsoever. So let's now get our good rod out, and we'll begin the grind. With all of our friendship evolutions, it always seems to come down to fishing in New Bark Town. We're level 40 now, and we get the evolution into Togetic. We aren't going to be able to learn any moves, not that Togetic learned anything useful anyway, but we can now teleport back to Ecruteak City, where we are going to try and take on the third rival battle at just under the hour mark. Let's re-register that bike now as well. We want our double quick movement speed, so it gives me very, very great pleasure to say this is the third rival battle, and he's going to, of course, lead with Ghastly. Let's see how we get on in this one. Hopefully, now that we've got a bit better stats behind us, it won't be too bad. Hidden Power's a one-shot on the Haunter. Let's move on to Magnemite. Mud Slap's a one-shot because it's 4 times super effective. We'll use Hidden Power against the Zubat, guarantee the one-shot. Is Headbutt going to one-shot the Croconaw? It is not. Even with an 18 level advantage, we are still struggling. But that is the third rival battle done. We'll fall through the floor. We'll release the beasts, and now we can prepare for Morty. We have done all the prep work we can for Morty. Let's see how we get on. He's our 4th gym leader. He is, of course, a ghost and poison type specialist who leads with Ghastly. We're holding the Minceberry in case of hypnosis shenanigans. We knock out the first Garcia and the Haunter. Here comes the Gengar. It's going to be a 2-shot, and thank goodness we were holding the Minceberry. Should be a fairly easy end to this battle now with a single 1-shot on the last Haunter. Fog Badge acquired in 59 minutes and 18 seconds. Now, because we've already done everything in Olivine City and are on the way to it, we could race over the seas to try and beat up Chuck. So this is Chuck. He is going to be our 5th gym leader together. He's a fighting type specialist and he's going to lead with Primeape. Should be a 1-shot on the Primeape. Oh, we range it. That's not a good start. Let's see how we do against the Poliwrath. We outspeed, we flinch, we 2-shot. That was a nice and easy gym battle. Chuck's badge in 1 hour, 1 minute and 24 seconds. I've decided to pick up the soft sand in preparation for Jasmine, even though we're not going to be facing her for a little while. And I think in this particular challenge we are going to get return early. It's going to be a big boon to have return right now as opposed to later on in the challenge. And it's going to be our highest damage output move, currently at 94 base power. It will cap out at 102 base power. So we're going to teach that in place of Metronome. I think Metronome has served its purpose. I've been using it here and there in some of the less meaningful battles, and now we can head to the Lake of Rage. Of course, there's only one thing we need to do here at the Lake of Rage, and that is beat up the angry red Gyarados. Thank goodness it's a 2-shot. We'll grow to level 45 already. Goodness me, I can't remember the last time we were this high level. For the Gyarados, we'll chat with Lance. Nothing's going to happen in the underground. So we'll skip to our next gym. And with the Mahogany Hideout done for another challenge, we can now take on Pryce. Pryce is going to be our 6th gym leader together. He's an Ice-type specialist who's going to lead with Seal. We 1-shot the Seal because we've got a whopping 20 levels over it. However, we don't 1-shot the Dugong, we 2-shot it with Headbutt. Let's move on to the Piloswine. I think he's going to Healing Loop. We didn't get frozen. He didn't even bother to heal. That was about as well as that battle could have gone. Glacier Badge in 109.31. Let's move on to Jazz. Now, Jazz could be difficult. She is, of course, a Steel-type specialist. And part of the reason why I chose Hidden Power Ice is because it will run neutral on her Steelix. We've got to get to the Steelix first, though. That's by getting through 2 Magnemite. I think we high-rolled there on both of those. Let's see how much damage we do against the Steelix. Quite a bit, actually. Just enough to keep her out of healing range. Jazz wasn't an issue either. Mineral Badge in 1 hour, 10 minutes and 40 seconds. I've got even more rockets to do now, so I'm not going to make you sit through those. Instead, we will reconvene at Rival 4. Yeah, getting good at that. It's only been 2.5 years. I reckon we're going to have a fairly smooth ride here at Rival 4. We are massively over-leveled for this point of the challenge now, and we have stab returns, so it can't be that difficult, surely. We are going to have to use Mud Slap against the Magnemite, though. That was still a range because we're holding the Nevermelt Ice. Hidden Power should one-shot the Haunter. That is one of the big threats gone. We'll swap to Return for the Sneasel. It's just for Alligator left to go. We'll try and flinch it on turn 1, which is exactly what happens. We'll finish it off with a Return, and that is Rival 4 completed. And we can now start thinking about Clair. So after honestly a very smooth ride through the end of the Rockets and the start of this gym, we are ready for Clair. She is going to be our final Jotonian gym leader. She leads with 3 Dragonair, and each of them is going to be a 1-shot with Return, which is very, very glorious to see. Let's see how we get on against the Kingdra now. I reckon a Headbutt start would be a good play. Surf does next to nothing because we have lots of special defense behind us, and we can finish it off with another Return. She's now going to have a whinge, so let's run to the Dragon's Den to get our final Jotonian badge. And now, after taking the survey, we get our final gym badge time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 51 seconds. Let's start heading towards the Pokemon League, where we're going to encounter the rival for one last time. And with no Earthquake to pick up, we're going straight into the final rival battle. This time he's going to lead with Sneasel. It's going to be a 1-shot with Return. This battle should be fairly trivial. We've got a huge level advantage. The only issue is going to be this Magneton, but we critical hit with Mud Slap. We'll 1-shot the Golbat, the other big bulk of this battle. We grow to level 59 as the Haunter comes out. Hidden Power will knock it out, even though it's not super effective. We'll use a Headbutt against the Alakazam, take care of its very, very low physical defense. and then we'll do the headbutt return combo for the Feraligatr, taking negligible damage, if I can get my words out there, for the final rival battle. And with that, we're at the Pokemon League. So the first thing we'll do is we'll heal up whether we need to or not, and now we'll say a very big thank you to the HM friends. So it's thank you to Kenya, to Abra, merci to Paris, and thank you to Psyduck as well. We'll grab our 4 full restores whether we need them or not, and then we will take a look at our stats going into the league. We're shaping up like this. We are level 59 with 173 HP, holding the Scamulet coin with Return, Mud Slap, Headbutt and Hidden Power Ice, 97 in attack, 146 in defense, 143 in special attack, 172 in special defense, and 93 in speed. Those, of course, the outer battle stats will get a big buff in battle, as we'll see now against Will. He's our first league member, a Psychic type specialist who led with Xatu, but it's already gone down. The Xatu goes down in 1, that means Jinx will as well. Slowbro's a different matter though, we're going to have to be using Return and Headbutt against the Slowbro, but 2 shots takes care of it. Do we one-shot that Xatu? Yes we do, as we grow to level 60. Executor we've got Hidden Power Ice for, that's going to be a guaranteed one-shot. We're through Will in a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes and 18 seconds. Let's move on to Koga. He's a Poison type specialist who of course leads with Ariados. Going to be a one-shot with Return on Ariados. I think the big problem here is going to be the Fortress. Hidden Power Ice is probably going to be our best bet, and we just hope it doesn't go boom. Very lucky critical hit there. We will use Return against the Muck. It's probably going to minimalise. Acid Armour, perfect. Don't have to worry about any accuracy drops. We'll Hidden Power the Crobat as Toxic misses, thank goodness for that. And the last Pokemon is Venomoth. Venomoth's going to be a one-shot with Return, so once again, a very simple battle. Koga in 1 hour, 28 minutes and 55 seconds. Let's move on to Bruno, and thank goodness we've got the Flying type behind us, because that means that Bruno is going to be running neutral instead of running super effective. One shot to start off with on Hitmontop. It's a one shot on Onix. Is he going to send out Machamp next? No, it's Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan's fine, it goes down in a single return. Machamp is the one I'm worried about because he has Rock Slide, but our defences are so huge it barely tickles us. That means we've got a very, very easy end to the battle. We'll one-shot Hitmonlee, and this Pokemon League is looking fairly trivial. Let's get our preparations done for Karen. We'll use a full restore. We will, of course, use the HP up to try and dissuade her from using Sand Attack, and we'll see how she gets on. This is Karen. She is a Dark-type specialist who leads with Umbreon. Let's start off with a Headbutt against the Umbreon. Confuse Ray's not great, but we can work with it. We don't have our accuracy lowered. She's going to send out Gengar next. Interesting, it swears at us. We hit ourselves in confusion, and we are at the risk of Destiny Bond. Let's try that again, shall we? Hopefully that was just a little bit of duff luck. If we didn't hit ourselves in confusion there, that wouldn't have happened. Feint Attack, perfect start to the battle. We get confused though because we low roll this time, so we're in the exact same situation we were before. Curse is fine, we don't hit ourselves in confusion. That means we don't have to worry about Destiny Bond. It's a one shot on the Murkrow. Here comes Houndoom. It's going to be a range probably, but we high roll. The last Pokemon is of course Vileplume. We've got Hidden Power Ice for the Vileplume. We knock it out in 1 and second try Karen. That's really impressive for a lot of stronger Pokemon. So I am going to be very, very proud of our Togetic here. Let's now take on Lance, the Liar with the Flyers. He is of course going to lead with Gyarados. I can't see too many issues in this battle, honestly. We'll start off with a Headbutt, Fish for the flinch. Rain Dance is fine, we'll use Return to finish it off. Then here comes Dragonite number 1. We've got fairly decent special attacks, so it'll go down in a single hit. We grow to level 63 as the second level 47 comes into play. Once again it's a one-shot. Here comes Scaradactyl. We don't outspeed, Rock Slide doesn't flinch, so we knock it out in 1. The next Pokemon is going to be Charizard. We don't have anything too great, so we're going to Fish for the flinch. We don't get it, but we don't get burnt. It's all over for Lance now because he's got 1 Pokemon left. It's 4 times weak to our Hidden Power. We knock it out. We grow to level 64 and we defeat Lance in a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes and 38 seconds. And that gives us our final Hall of Fame time for this challenge of 1 hour 31 minutes and 54 seconds. And that time puts us in 89th place on our midpoint leaderboard. There's still everything to play for though, there's another 8 gym badges plus the red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere. Kanto is next. And now we're rejoining the action here in Goldenrod City because we've got a move to learn from the move tutor. We're going to spend a lot of our money to get ourselves Flamethrower. And Flamethrower's going to be replacing Mudslap on the learn set. We were only really holding on to Mudslap for the Magnemite line, and Flamethrower is super effective and a lot more base power. And with that on our learn sets, we can now head over to Vermilion City, where the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're going to get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokémon fan club. With that safely tucked away in our bag for yet another challenge, you know what I'm going to say. I am more than pleased to announce that TOGETIC is more than capable of taking on our standard Cantonian routing. So we'll start here with Surge, move over to Celadon with Erica, down to Fuchsia with Janine. It's over to Saffron for Sabrina, up to Cerulean for Misty, through the tunnel to Brock, Imputer, down to Cinnabar Island for Blaine, and then we'll finish off with Blue. And talking of Blue, if you do want to skip ahead to the Blue fight, it's going to be starting at around about 28 minutes and 37 seconds. For everybody else, let's now sit back, relax, and have our standard Cantonian chat. Now, I promise I will shut up about these live voiceovers eventually, but there's still more I want to talk about in this Kanto chat about them. And the first thing is kind of the origin point of what inspired me to actually do them this time round. I was having a chat with one of my very, very dearest friends, Kim. She's at Kim's Mad World here on YouTube, and she has started creating more long-form, unedited content here on YouTube, sort of harking back to the old Let's Play days. And watching that first video she uploaded, it just hit me in all the right ways. There's nothing quite like live content, be it in a stream like she and I are very used to doing, or in a pre-recorded video that we can then edit down if we want to, like we're doing here with these challenge runs now. It just tickled the right part of my brain, and it got me thinking, if it tickles my brain like that, it's probably going to tickle other people's brains in a very similar way. And I've got to be honest, live content is what I enjoy the most. It's what I've been doing for many, many years, even before the days of like Twitch and YouTube streaming were a thing. If you remember the days of things like Justin TV and Blog TV, you know exactly how long I'm talking about. And I thought, combine that with the thousands of hours I had on unscripted live television presenting as well, and I could probably make something that we've not really seen here on YouTube. A combination of the edited challenge run format that we all know and love, with the live, genuine reactions of things happening mid-game. It's going to take me a while to find my flow, it always does with these kind of things, but I really, really am enjoying this process so much more than I even was with the challenge run format before. I've spoken about it before, but I've got to be honest, seeing a video that's 40 to 60 minutes long in my to voice pile, it's very intimidating. So being able to streamline that process and having most of the voiceover done already at the very beginning of the editing process, it makes things a lot easier from my side. And that's not to say I'm aiming for a reduction in quality in my challenge run content, quite the opposite. There are times in the old voiceovers when I try and feign the surprise and it just wouldn't quite work in the same way. So I think having this little Kanto chat where I can decompress after I've played the challenge and still talk to you in the pre-recorded format, while still having everything else be perfectly live, is a happy middle ground. Now please do be aware, your feedback is really important, especially if you're listening to the Kanto chat. If you don't like the new format, let me know down in the comments and I can always revert back if a lot of you are saying the same thing, because there are always other ways I can change the editing process. But for now, let's hand on over back to the live challenge, where we're about to take on Blue. The road through Kanto up to Blue was fairly trivial, and I don't really foresee too many issues here at Blue. He's our final gym leader of the challenge, and he of course leads with Pidgeot. We'll use Hidden Power Ice against Pidgeot and knock it out in one, and the next Pokemon is Rhydon. Once again, our relatively high special attack will take care of that in a single hit. We'll swap to Return for the Alakazam as Reflect comes up, which isn't great. And now that we've got a Spadef drop, we are a little bit closer to danger than we otherwise would have been. We'll use Psychic against the Gyarados, that's probably our best option at the moment. Hydro Pump's going to hit fairly hard, but he is now in a bit of a healing loop. We're waiting for that Reflect to fade, so that now we can pivot back to Return. Arcanine's next. It's going to use Extreme Speed. No, it's not. It's going to use Flamethrower. Interesting. He's using a full restore. If we can survive the Arcanine, which we should, we didn't. Shows what I know. Let's try that again, shall we? We might have to equip the Quick Claw, you know. That might be the issue. Just having that Reflect up means we are in a little bit of danger. We'll see once more without the Quick Claw, and then we might just have to play either with the Quick Claw or with the leftovers. Reflect is our big issue here, because Reflect means that the Gyarados can survive. We didn't get the Spadef drop this time though, so we are in a slightly better position than we were last time. It's going to be a 3-shot Twister, absolutely fine by us. We can stall out the Reflect with the Gyarados. We are very much in a better position than we were this time last battle. Going for Extreme Speed instead of Flamethrower on the first turn, we're absolutely fine. It was just that 1 in 10 Spadef drop that screwed us over there. Executor, that's a very hard Pokemon to say after you've been playing for an hour and 47 minutes. That goes down, we get our last badge in 1 hour, 47 minutes and 43 seconds. And that means we can now travel to Professor Oak and unlock Mount Silver. We have our 10 rare candies, we have a fairly decent learn set, we have a ridiculously high level, so let's take on Red. He is our final trainer of the challenge and he leads with Pikachu. Pikachu outspeeds us, which is our first issue, and we did get Charmed. However, we're not really going to be focusing on our physical attack for most of this battle. I appreciate I didn't heal as well, but we were never going to get through at that level. So let's now actually do our heal, and we can think about using some rare candies. I do also think, you know, that Zap Cannon might be the play. I might actually get rid of Hidden Power Ice in place of Zap Cannon. It could bite us in the bum, but there's only one way to find out. It's only 50% accurate, but it might be the ticket to get us through the Arcanine, not the Arcanine, the Blastoise. So we'll use Return against the Pikachu. We know it's going to be a 2-shot either way. Double Charm is a little bit rude though, Pikachu. We've equipped the Quick Claw. We're hoping that this will mean we outspeed the Pikachu on one of our attempts. It's not looking like we're going to get there very quickly though. Let's try Zap Cannon and see how much that does. We still get knocked out by Blizzard. I think we're going to have to use another 3 rare candies. Get ourselves up to level 77. Unfortunately, that base 40 speed is really doing a number on us now. We get the Quick Claw proc though against Pikachu. That does mean we get to see how bad the Blastoise is. He goes for Rain Dance turn 1, but we critical hit with Zap Cannon. That is about as good as we could have hoped there. Pestion's going to set up Reflect, which isn't great, but we do have a lot of special defense behind us. Zap Cannon knocks it out in just a few shots. Snorlax is the next big issue. Zap Cannon misses. We're just going to try and paralyze it with Zap Cannon. See if we don't get paralyzed ourselves, but we do. Let's use our last 4 rare candies. It's now or never really. We've just got to hope that we get the luck we need to get through this battle. Our first bit of luck is going to be the 23% Quick Claw proc or Thunder missing. Those are the 2 viable outcomes for the start of the battle. We get the Quick Claw proc, we're through threat number 1. Threat number 2 is this Blastoise. We need to hit it with Zap Cannon, and we need to get Blizzard to miss. That's not what happened there. Let's try again. I've used our last PP up on Zap Cannon to give us 6 attempts as opposed to 5. We get the Quick Claw proc on the Pikachu. That's a very good start. We know we're not going to one-shot the Blastoise, but if we can incapacitate it, all the better. Rain Dance is fine. We can finish it off with Return. Now, can we hit the Pestion through Reflect? No, we can't. This is where something like Brick Break on the Learn set, even though it's not a Gen 2 move, would have been incredibly handy. We're not having much luck at Red here at the moment. This is where the resets really are going to build up. We need a lot of luck in all the right places to get through this battle. We need Zap Cannon to hit the Blastoise and then for Blizzard to miss. Unlike that, so we take a reset. We get our Charm fail, we can get through the Pikachu. Let's hope that Zap Cannon hits first time, and let's hope he goes for Rain Dance. That's what we needed. That means we are through the Blastoise. Now, what would be brilliant here is if we could proc the Quick Claw to get through Espeon. We had a Spadef drop there, which is absolutely terrible. Our one good stat is Special Defense. Losing that means we are in a little bit of trouble. We get knocked out by Snorlax. Let's keep on trying. The luck has to line up at some point. We've got the best possible moves on the learn set for this occasion. There's not much else we can do. We're going to try and get through the Blastoise in 2, which is exactly what we do. We're back onto this pesky Espeon. Reflect is our issue here. Reflect means we're not able to use our physical attacks against either the Espeon or the Snorlax, which means we have to pivot to our special attack. If we can incapacitate the Snorlax, all the better. We don't get paralysed, we're in with a very, very slight chance. Reflect has faded, let's see how much we do. Not enough. I think we have a Shadow Ball TM, you know. It might be controversial, but I don't see us using Psychic when we've got Flamethrower on the learn set. Let's give it a go, see if that is the play we need, because Shadow Ball is going to be super effective against the Espeon. So we are piece by piece figuring out how to beat Red here. We're going to use Zap Cannon against the Blastoise and we hope for a Rain Dance. We don't get the Rain Dance, but we get Blizzarded. We get Rain Dance on turn 2, we knock it out on turn 3. Let's see how much Shadow Ball does. Is it enough for a start? The answer is no. This is not going well. We're just going to have to wing it, hope for the best. Quick Claw or no Quick Claw. We are going to get through this battle by hook or by crook. We might even bother with the leftovers at this point, because we aren't really getting the luck we need with the Quick Claw. It is very RNG dependent. If Espeon goes for Psychic there, we are in with half a chance. I reckon actually with the leftovers we could do some serious damage. We're going to Zap Cannon the Snorlax. Hopefully it gets paralysed on turn 2. It doesn't, but it does give us a chance at incapacitating the Snorlax. This is our first time through the Snorlax. We're not going to get through the rest of the battle. Flamethrower is going to knock us out. I think lefties are the way to go after all of this. All we have to do is persevere. That 2-hour mark is getting to be a little bit of a pipe dream now, though. We get a chance to see the rest of the battle because we're through the Pikachu at long last. Zap Cannon misses twice in a row. Blizzard hits. So we are going to have to keep throwing the dice here. We paralyse the Blastoise, it gets fully paralysed. That is the first bit of good luck in this battle. Let's now try against the Espeon. I think we're just going to use Return and then maybe swap to Shadow Ball. It's going to give us a Spadef drop potentially, which we can work with. It's a very tricky battle. He withdrew Espeon. That is incredibly rare. Let's Zap Cannon this Snorlax, hope it gets fully paralysed. Ooh, maybe with a Flamethrower now. Amnesia's fine, Reflector's faded, we can knock out the Snorlax. We are in a fairly good position at the moment. We can one-shot the Espeon. Psychic, absolutely fine. We aren't in a terrible position, all things considered. Now, the least risky thing to do here is Return. We hope we don't get burned. We hope that we can get through in just a couple of shots. We low roll, that is terrible. We lose the luck we need. We're getting a strategy in place. We know that if we use Shadow Ball against the Espeon, there's a chance that Red will swap, so we could use that to our advantage. We just have to try and get to the Espeon first. Blizzard misses, that means we are in with a shout of getting through the rest of this battle. Let's use Shadow Ball and then let's instantly use Zap Cannon on the next turn. He's not withdrawn this time though, that is very inconsistent. We've paralysed the Espeon, that does mean that we outspeed and we knock it out. Let's move on to Snorlax, we're going to have to Zap Cannon this thing. Just hope that it gets fully paralysed. Amnesia's fine, the Reflector's faded. If it stays fully paralysed for just one turn, we're in with a chance, but we get paralysed. Goodness me, we just get fed the luck and then it leaves us straight away. We really are getting one of those needles going all over the place in terms of our luckometer in this one. We are through the Blastoise, so Rain Dance is fine. We're not going to be using Flamethrower until we get to the Venusaur. Let's use Shadow Ball and let's try and fish for that switch once again. The Spadef drop as well does mean that he's likely to switch. We Zap Cannon on turn 1. If this Snorlax stays fully paralysed, we are able to knock it out on turn number 2, hopefully. No! We low roll and he goes for rest. Absolute disastrous scenes here. Hopefully, though, we don't take too much damage from Snore. He's going to stay fast asleep. We're going to outspeed. We're going to knock it out on turn 3. It's just a very roundabout way of doing it. He goes for Reflect. We don't get the Spadef drop. We are back onto Zard. We know that we have to Zap Cannon this thing and hope that it connects. It does. That means we're going to outspeed the Zard. That is absolutely fine. We're going to be around about half health for the last Pokemon. It's going to be Venusaur. We're going to use Flamethrower as he takes in Sunlight. I think it's all over for Red now. We grow to level 82, and we defeat Red in a time of 2 hours, 1 minute and 7 seconds. We didn't quite get under 2 hours, but I still think that's a very respectable time for TOGETIC. And that does put us on the last page in 92nd place. Honestly, for that challenge, I don't think we could have asked for much more than that. We still have the gruesome twosome of Shuckle and Magcargo down there in the last spots of the leaderboard. That fairly slow time does of course mean there's no change to page 2. It's still Lugia heading it up with Azatu in the page 2 drop zone. Noctowl is still heading up page 3 in 51st place, with Meganium perilously close to the page 3 drop zone in 90th place. And there's no change to the first page either. It's still Dodrio, Ho-Oh and Pidgeot in 1st, 2nd and 3rd, but Suicune had better watch out, it's perilously close to the page 1 drop zone. With that though, we're done. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, make sure to leave a like. If you've got any feedback, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, when we're going to be running another Pokemon through the Challenge Run Gauntlet, I'll say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.